Trackside 6, sponsored by Turning Point Dental.
May, it's why drivers dream and dreamers drive. And this weekend, the wait is over.
And can you believe it's already been a year since Will Power won the Indianapolis 500? And well, you got something to show for it, too, huh?
Certainly do. And I've even got, like, this little guy here.
And a water bottle as well.
So which of the 32 other drivers are ready for their turn? Is it the pair of Swedish rookies who remember fellow countryman Kenny Breck? Or will the name Andretti grace victory lane again, exactly 50 years after Mario's magical ride? Plus a look back at the beast, underground and undisclosed, on the silver anniversary of perhaps Penske's finest moment. The race to immortality stops here tonight on Trackside 6.
Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this is an RTV6 News special, Trackside 6.
Oh, and things are getting special. Welcome, everyone, live to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Day First. Brad Brown. Here we are, race weekend, and ready to go.
And come Sunday, more than 250,000 people will fill this 2.5-mile oval. Many of them will enter under Gate 2 on 16th Street, the historic main gate here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Currently adorned with the photo of the defending champion, Will Power, in one of those iconic pictures from race day a year ago in Victory Circle, Dave.
And we'll start tonight the way we finished last year with Will Power in Victory Lane, but certainly his story goes well beyond that. In fact, if you add in his wife, Liz, it's a journey as personal as it gets. The powers of perseverance. Deep in the heart of some Carolina pines, you'll find the Powers, a home filled with pictures, Will's new Porsche, and in these parts, a rarity, a pace car, signifying that the owner is an Indy 500 champion. We all love Indy. This is that fresh pine air.
Right.
You know, this is pretty nice here, right?
I'm a little bit out there. I mean, out there as far as where I'm living.
Oh, you're out there.
I'm out there as well.
Do any of the neighbors realize there's an Indy 500 champion living here?
I'm pretty sure they all realize there's an Indy 500 champion. Seriously, when I won, there's these bloody signs on the way to my house. They didn't actually point to where my house was, but it was actually signs like, "Congratulations, Will Power, Indy 500.
That Sunday was a long time coming. His 11th start in the 500, and when it was time to go, he says he felt a calm. Liz nervously squeezing and chewing a number of water bottles the whole way, and with 5 laps to go, Steph Wilson and Jack Harvey head to the pits for fuel, leaving Will all alone with the lead.
Will Power's going to win the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Power had won a number of races of championships before, but this is Indy, and this, when it all comes together. There's the that iconic image of you climbing out of the car and really giving it. That wasn't made up.
No. I was just like...
The animal
Who was
reaction.
that guy? I mean, the eyes.
I know.
They told the story there, man.
I mean, that's just everything built up over the years, you know. Like myself, I had won a lot of races, more than anyone, over the last 10 years. And I didn't have that much to show for it. So winning the 500 was just, you know, you can see some anger in there, obviously a lot of pressure off, just lost it. Completely lost it.
But everyone understands why, though.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it. At over 55 career poles.
Really, how many pole positions can you win, for crying out loud? Really?
Not enough until you pass Mario.
And over 30 wins and counting.
This kind of brings it all home.
Obviously the baby Borg and the sculpted face, you got the car, you get the figurine of me going like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good they did that.
But behind it all, a painting of their son, Bo, born December of 2016, whose arrival as a story of the power of perseverance, all its own.
That was rough.
Just the worst time of our lives, really.
Yeah.
How bad were things?
Didn't realize like how
They were
close
bad.
to like she could have died. Like, it was really close.
It was close.
While Bo was born a healthy 9 pounds and 4 ounces, the concern centered around Liz, battling serious infection, released from the hospital and then readmitted for emergency surgery.
You look back on it, you think, wow. At the time, I have a newborn baby. I was in so much pain. I didn't quite, neither one of us did, because it's sink or swim, right? You're trying to survive. Thank goodness we have wonderful friends and family. Will was amazing.
It was followed by 2 more surgeries, and even then, things didn't seem right.
And then 6 months later, in Indy, I found out that I had broken my pelvis from the delivery, got walking funny, you know, all these things. It just kind of kept unraveling. But at the same time, we got through it, you know, but it made you appreciate last year that much more.
When you have a tough time in your life, you really, really enjoy when it's normal and good.
Ultimately, it took some 2 years to recover. Bo and Liz battling off the track while Will battled on it. And somehow finding humor in it now. How has that experience brought you guys closer together, do you think?
With marriage, relationships, they're hard work.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be rosy all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to go through the bad.
You said you're a team.
Yeah, I mean, I actually realized, I was going to say how much Liz does, because I had to do so much. When she couldn't do it, I was out.
This is good. This is good therapy here.
That's right.
Let it out.
I was actually
Our couch session.
how much she does. Like, when I had to look after baby and go and get groceries, and it's like, man, damn.
Yeah. See?
Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. She does a lot.
All a part of the new power play, taking on the twists and turns and doing so with a whole new calm, where their appreciation of racing goes hand in hand with an appreciation of living. And now everyone knows who this Indy 500 champion is now.
You are going to have rough times, you're going to have great times. You've just got to enjoy the moments. You've got to really enjoy, and that's what I've been doing these last couple of years.
The parallel with racing is pretty strong.
I don't have that many years left in racing. You know, maybe I've got 5 years of good racing left. You have to enjoy every race. You have to put everything into every race, because you're not going to, you know, you're going to look back and you don't want to regret that you didn't put the effort in, because it comes quick.
How strong is Liz? Well, despite the health issues, she made it to every race in 2017. While Will Power, well, hoping for a repeat on the track. He starts 6th Sunday.
Coming up, they're ready for a repeat of 20 years ago.
They met as kids growing up go-karting in Sweden. Now, Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenqvist are here in Indy, IndyCar rookies, and neighbors. Made in Sweden, looking to make it in Indy.
And later, there's nothing plain about Marco Andretti. Why timing is everything for the 3rd-generation star. When Trackside 6 continues on RTV 6.
Remember that time we wanted a classic burger, but we also wanted a spicy chicken sandwich? I remember that. 2 sandwiches for $3.50? You're a cheap date. Is this a date? I think this is a date. Get 2 sandwiches all to yourself, plus fries and a drink for $3.50. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
She never does a thing for herself, but she never skimps on us. So it hurt to see how self-conscious she was about her teeth. She'd cover her mouth, looked at the floor when she talked. But this was perfect. Now we understand why they call it Turning Point. It was like a new start. The consultation was free. They did something that even I couldn't do. They made my wife smile.
For a new permanent smile, call Turning Point Dental Implants and live out loud.
Race morning, join RTV6 for 6 hours of breakfast at the Brickyard.
What do you like most about race morning?
All the colors at the racetrack.
Do you have a favorite color?
White.
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 Ah, the milk.
The RTV6 News team is working for you. Race morning beginning at 5. This is May. This is RTV6. Breakfast at the Brickyard on RTV6 is sponsored by Dunkin'. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes. America runs on Dunkin'.
This summer, it's racing season. Time to go to the Children's Museum. Check out Hot Wheels, Race to Win, a race team garage, so roll on in. We've got everything you need. Power, safety, and lots of speed. There's a stock car, Indy car, dragster too. Check an engine like mechanics do. Change out tires in our pit stop. Are you faster than Mom or Pop? Race cars to Hot Wheels, we've got it all. For you motorheads big and small. Come on down, you gotta see them. Every day's race day at the Children's Museum.
Open now.
Forget festivals. Have you been to a Rallies and Checkers Feastival? We're talking steak on a juicy burger, smothered in cheese. Steak covered in French onion sauce and crispy onions. There's even steak loaded up on fries. Just $2 each. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
A look high above Georgetown Road and the front stretch, the historic pagoda of this great place on a beautiful night here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And welcome back, everyone. 20 years ago, Sweden's Kenny Bräck won the race here. This year, two Swedish rookies, Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenqvist, will make the walk down Gasoline Alley for the very first time. They're neighbors in Indianapolis, and both are hoping their next destination is Victory Circle here at the Brickyard. It only seems fitting that this duo has found themselves together again. Marcus Ericsson and Felix Rosenqvist are a long way from home, but have settled into a new home here in Indy.
To come over here to America and to be two Swedish drivers, in the championship and IndyCar is very special, and I think, I'm very proud of it, and I'm sure Felix as well.
We haven't really, as you said, seen each other for the last 10 years because we've been on different racing programs and championships. So yeah, it's ironic that it's all, when we end up in the same boat.
Each has had a taste of driving at the highest levels of motorsports, but a move to IndyCar has rejuvenated their careers.
I think many guys, over the pond kind of underestimate IndyCar. To be a specialist in IndyCar, you need to be a specialist in oval, street courses, road courses.
Ericsson has settled in well with Aero Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. A crash in a Grand Prix here was only a minor setback. The 500 will be his first race on an oval, but he's been ready for this test all along.
Driving these cars in 230 mile an hour, flat out, turning into turn one, it's definitely a very special feeling, and it's a mental game. I think you have to sort of, in the beginning, convince yourself that you can do it because you don't really know where the limits are.
Rosenqvist broke through by winning the pole position for the Indy Grand Prix.
Det är alltid en dröm att ta första pole, och det är en speciell känsla när man är snabbast av alla.
That didn't translate well to race day, and he's also a bit of a novice on the ovals, but having Scott Dixon and Dario Franchitti in his ear is certainly helping.
I'm asking, should we just go down with the downforce, or should we, make the car a bit more loose? And he's like, okay, let's we take it slowly here, on the ovals, and I think that's been good for me.
20 years have passed since Swede Kenny Bräck won the 500. These drivers are hoping to follow in his footsteps.
There is for sure an interest in Sweden for motorsport, and it goes back, like Felix said, all the way to the 70s, 80s, when we had a lot of successful drivers in Formula One, in the World Rally Championship. So I think there is a culture for motorsport, but we need drivers on the highest level to sort of keep it alive.
Just ahead.
For years, Marco Andretti's been able to handle 230 miles an hour or so around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Done that for years, but nowadays he's kicking things up a notch. We head to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Coming up, Trackside 6.
And later, the silver anniversary of one of the slickest moves in all of racing when this RTV6 News special continues.
In Hollywood, beauty needs no resume.
Farrah was a golden girl. Bigger than life.
She was the most desired woman of her time. She's Farrah Fawcett.
Our world came to a shattering moment.
I panicked.
There's no room for despair. The deepest desire is to live.
Now, 10 years after her death, stunning rare video, new surprising details.
That's one thing people probably don't know about her.
This is Farrah Fawcett, the event special, tonight at 8/7 Central on ABC.
For you, maybe fresh means colorful, cool, local. Yeah, we get you. And we've got that at prices worth celebrating.
My Synergy queen-size mattress, only $4.99. The perfect synergy of comfy Bobapedic memory foam and individually wrapped inner spring coils, made the old-fashioned way, not with robots, but with actual fleshy hands. Let me show you. This clearly isn't a robot. This is Jessica, happily at work on my Synergy mattress. She works at one of my favorite partner manufacturers right here in the USA. And look here, this is Boom Boom, also not a robot. I see what you did there, Boom Boom. My Synergy queen-size mattress, only $4.99, made by humans, not robots.
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Nothing like taking myself out to rallies and checkers. I love it too. Remember that time we wanted a classic burger, but we also wanted a spicy chicken sandwich? I remember that. Then we got both a classic burger and a spicy chicken sandwich. 2 sandwiches for $3.50? You're a cheap date. Is this a date? I think this is a date. Get 2 sandwiches all to yourself. Pick from a spicy chicken sandwich and a juicy classic burger, plus fries and a drink for $3.50. You look great today. I wanted to look nice for you. Rallies and checkers. Best foodies know the deal.
When severe weather strikes, Storm Team 6 is working for you.
You should be in the lowest level of your home.
Giving you the information you need when you need it.
With these strong winds, it's much easier to topple a tree.
Kevin Gregory and Storm Team 6 are working for you.
I'm thankful that I'm alive.
Well, in the inevitable question, where has the time gone? Here's one for you. Sunday, Marco Andretti will start his 14th Indianapolis 500. Really, where has the time gone? But if you wonder if and when he ever does retire, what he's going to do next, well, it's Marco's business. The world of Marco Andretti has literally taken him around the world, but home is where it's always been, buying his childhood home from his dad, Michael, located just a few acres away from his grandfather, Mario.
To grow up in a house and kind of come back and this is your own,
I mean, my dad warned me about the bills, so the bill and the upkeep part of it's not awesome, but it was cool to make it my own and to be next to my noisy neighbor. Mario's not bad either.
Just how noisy is it down there? Do you have to call the cops on occasion?
Yeah, it's disturbing the peace constantly down there.
But you can't go far without some sort of Andretti influence. Marco knows it all too well, literally growing up in the family's shadows.
That's the first ever win in a go-kart, 97.
He's kept his trophies going back some 20 years.
There was a moment where I got away from the sport because I won that race, and I just remember not even smiling or anything. I was like, that's what I had to do. My dad's like, you're not having fun with this at all. And he was right. Like, I was put so much pressure on myself that I wasn't having fun.
You know, your grandfather's Mario Andretti. Your dad's Michael Andretti.
Yeah, all this is nothing when you're the 3rd generation. To be frank with you, this wind drought I'm in IndyCar is tough to really, really unwind and stuff. But I need to, I think I'm going to extract the most from myself if I just go and drive, and just take that million-pound gorilla off my back.
This is the building.
This is it, yeah.
So Marco is changing it up.
28 apartments and 4 commercials. Wow. Sushi restaurant, daycare's here.
The youngest Andretti to get into the family business is getting down to business. First, in real estate. His portfolio includes the Heritage House in Nazareth, a gorgeous 1800s 4-story brick building, one of a few properties he owns in town. Not to mention this.
That's cool. I want to do that someday. I want to grow up to be Marco Andretti.
His most recent acquisition.
It's the Hawker 800 XP. Fits 9 people, and I could stand up in it, which isn't saying much, but...
More asset than opulence, an investment he turns over to a company called East Coast Jets to charter out. It comes complete with a Marco Andretti logo and an MA tail number. When an inspection is complete, he'll also be able to use it to go to and from his IndyCar races for next to nothing.
You're thinking with your head, though.
I'm trying to. I'm doing stuff I like, but I'm trying to not lose out on it.
But it's smart. I mean, it seems silly, but there's a rhyme to the reason.
I'm sure from the outside looking in, it doesn't look smart, but it is. I mean, when you look at the numbers, and it all comes down to the partners that I have. I wouldn't be able to do it if they didn't have the clientele that East Coast Jets has.
The goal is sky high. The backing remains as grounded as it gets. He says when it's race season, all focus is back to the track, where investing comes in many other forms.
This is quite a collection here, man.
My plan is I try to trade up in value. from Marco to these superstars, you know.
A collection he started his rookie year.
Hunter Ray,
Tony Stewart, yeah.
Scott Dixon, and Fernando Alonso. Some guy named Hinchcliffe. This has 2 wins on it from Will Power.
A mix of young and old.
My dad's Formula One podium at Monza. Ronnie Peterson. That was my grandfather's teammate.
Sensational and sentimental.
Danica, Dale Jr. They're Dan Weldon. And then his son, I have his son's first helmet. How cool is that?
Little Sebastian Weldon.
Yep.
Marco, can't wait to race with you one day.
All a part of his past and present.
I recognize Kanan.
I was wondering whose that was.
Wow.
Risk and reward, innovation and investing. It's been the Andretti way for decades and will continue to be for years to come.
In the next 20 years, we'll be talking about Marco being a land baron or a...
Man, I better step my game up if that's the case. My goal is to make as much money outside of the seat as I did in and try to be smart about the future.
Still to come.
I was just so blessed to be a part of it.
Secrets revealed. One of the greatest undercover stories in all of racing 25 years ago. Plus, a look ahead to race weekend when Trackside 6 continues.
Remember that time we wanted a classic burger, but we also wanted a spicy chicken sandwich? I remember that. 2 sandwiches for $3.50? You're a cheap date. Is this a date? I think this is a date. Get 2 sandwiches all to yourself, plus fries and a drink for $3.50. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine. The Andy 500 is on at Andy Moore Toyota in Avon, where more means more.
Lease a new 2019 Camry or RAV4, just $189 a month. Or save big with 0% APR for 60 months on select new 2019 Highlanders, Siennas, and Tundras.
Take the pole position with crowd-pleasing deals and transparent pricing.
We have what you're looking for at Andy Moore Toyota in Avon.
Finish faster when you start your deal online at andymoretoyota.com.
Race morning, join RTV6 for 6 hours of breakfast at the Brickyard.
What do you like most about race morning?
All the colors at the racetrack.
Do you have a favorite color?
White.
White. Ah, the milk.
The RTV6 News team is working for you. Race morning beginning at 5. This is May. This is RTV6. Breakfast at the Brickyard on RTV6 is sponsored by Dunkin'. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes. America runs on Dunkin'.
This little light of mine.
Before my stroke, I was a police officer. After my stroke, I was not able to speak. I wasn't able to walk. The reason that I started teaching was to help the kids going through challenges. Because of Indiana Wesleyan, I will have a second career. I'm David Slaughterbeck, and I am shining brighter.
You are a light, and with a little help from Indiana Wesleyan University, your light can shine brighter than you ever thought possible.
Forget festivals. Have you been to a Rallies and Checkers Feastival? We're talking steak on a juicy burger, smothered in cheese. Steak covered in French onion sauce and crispy onions. There's even steak loaded up on fries. Just $2 each. Rallies and Checkers. Fast foodies know the deal.
A picture of the Penske pride, Roger Penske, in the offseason with a shot of himself and his 17 Baby Borg trophies representing his 17 wins in the Indy 500. Perhaps none more calculated, though, than his win back in 1994. Unser Jr. was the driver, the engine, a push rod in this Trackside 6 Throwback Thursday. You don't have to look hard to find Roger Penske and Unser Jr. these days. They continue to play prominent roles in a sport synonymous with their presence. And both will be forever connected by one of the most famous engines in Speedway history.
When you heard about this engine, were you like, holy cow, we're going to dominate this thing? Or was it like, man, we're going out on a limb here?
I had mixed feelings about it, to be truthful. You know, it was high risk. Those were high risk stakes.
That was probably, when I go back, just the execution of that whole thing with Ilmore, to think about we could design an engine, come to the Speedway, and execute and win. And it's one of my favorite times.
The engine was this, built by Ilmore in England, but branded by Mercedes-Benz, known as the 209 or the pushrod engine. But the design of it, as secretive as it got.
I had my dad and my Uncle Bobby in my motorhome at the Phoenix race, okay? And they're going, tell us about this engine. And I'm going, I can't.
I remember we announced it 1 week before the Speedway opened, so I told our guys, if you talk about this, it's like cutting off your paycheck, so everybody kept it under wraps.
It made its Speedway debut right on time, opening day, but only Emerson Fittipaldi and Paul Tracy were on hand. Unser Jr. and the Penske engineers were at the Michigan Speedway testing its reliability, trying to fine-tune a power plant which took advantage of areas in the rule book and produced a rumored 1,000 horsepower.
The engine did not complete 500 miles at Michigan until opening day of practice at Indy. You had Paul and Emerson at Indy bringing the car out opening day, and that's where really the world found out about the 209. I'm at Michigan trying to do 500 miles, and we finally did it that day.
The rest truly is history. Embo turned to practice speed at 230.8 miles an hour. Little Al won pole that year with a 4-lap average of 228.
What I think about it now is if there was social media today, then it wouldn't have been a secret at all. We would have been toast right away.
And on race day, the Penske's dominated. Emmo led 145 laps before making contact with the wall in turn 4, and Little Al took over from there.
And the checkered flag is there for Al Unser Jr.
A legendary year and moment, the day Penske power ruled at Indy.
Dave, anytime you do well at Indy, successful like that, it's a great day. I knew right then this was something special, and then to be with Roger, who makes it special.
Looking ahead to race day, 5 a.m., live from the Speedway, breakfast at the Brickyard, then back to where it all began at 11 with Crucible of Speed, live at 6 p.m. with our post-race coverage here of the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500.
If you like the Penske story, pick up the book called The Beast. Buddy Jade Gerst does and this reads more like a spy novel than a racing book.
Great stuff.
It's great stuff. Who are they going to write about on Sunday?
Ooh, only time will tell.
Coverage all weekend long here on RTV6. For Brad Brown, I'm Dave First. Good night from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Trackside 6, sponsored by Turning Point Dental. Watch Trackside 6 with Dave First and driver analyst Tony Kanaan, only on RTV6.